Coming up next week, wall-to-wall coverage. And when I say wall-to-wall coverage, for those of you that have never heard the HBCU Report Magic City Classic edition, oh my God, it's going down in the major way next week. As McDonald's presents the Magic City Classic presented by Coca-Cola, or McDonald's Magic City Classic presented by Coca-Cola, for sponsorship reasons, have to say that. It's going down. Ricky Smiley is the Grand Marshal of, the ambassador for the 2017 Magic City Classic, also the Grand Marshal for the event. In-game MC is going to be Funny Mane, and the post-game performance is going to be by none other than the king of the South. That's why I said if I do it, I got to do it right. Big thing popping. Talking about TIP. End zone performance, post-game is going down. And shouts out to the folks over at Magic City Classic. Been working with them all week, trying to secure the bag as well for next week's show. And we've got a big one planned for you. We've got Coach Ely from Bama State, also James Spady, head football coach of the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, Carlton Wright, director of bands from Alabama A&M, Dr. James Oliver, director of bands, Alabama State. We've got Michael Gunn, the senior vice president of the Birmingham Convention and Visitors Bureau. We've got, I'm talking about a jam-packed show planned for you and yours, and I'm not sure what day we're going to air. I'm thinking I'm going to try to get with Doug and say we can't make this thing happen. Maybe Friday morning before his show, or Thursday morning before his show. But we'll see how we're going to do this. But it's definitely going to be a great one. A lot of great things going down in the city of Birmingham next week, starting next Wednesday. And next Thursday, they're actually going to have a pep rally, step show, and then the Battle of the Bands. And that's presented by the Marines, and that's hosted by Funny Mane as well, and that goes down at the Birmingham Crossplex Bill Harris Arena. And then, of course, on Saturday, it goes down. The Magic City Classic. Alabama A&M versus Alabama State. Oh, it's going to be a great one. And shouts out to David. Hit me up on Twitter just a second ago and asked me had I seen this article on the undefeated.com. The fifth quarter section about Alabama State, and I was like, no, I haven't, but I'm on it now. The fifth quarter, Alabama State University's Mighty Marching Hornets behind the scenes with the band as it prepares for a home game against Alcorn State. And then it gives you a lot of great pictures, man. You know, that's the one thing that people don't really get to see is all the hard work. You hear about it, you see the end result, but you don't really get to go to practice because a lot of times practice is closed and, because these preparations are so serious. But shouts out to the Undefeated and who wrote this article? Who is this? Tamika Moore. Shouts out to you, Tamika. Great article about the Alabama State University band and just so nostalgic just to see all the kids with their uniforms on sitting in the band room. Just like we used to once upon a time ago. Yeah, been a long time since them days. Absolutely. Don't forget, you can follow the HBCU Report on social media, Instagram and Twitter at HBCU Report. Don't forget about our content partner, sportsnewsandbrews.com, your official source for sports, black news, political news, and the latest on your favorite craft beers. Speaking of which, last night over at Fox Brothers, had a couple of my favorite craft beers. Not sure how many of you out there are on the craft beer. I know I got a lot of Bud fans. Do I? Yeah, I think my audience might be like Coors Light, Miller Light, Bud Light, Old Natty. Am I lying? Tell me in the chat room what y'all drinking. Well, I mean, if you're a beer drinker, what y'all drink? But I mean, I'm on this. I'm like a snooty beer drinker. So now I'm on this Night on Punch. That's one of my favorite IPAs, and the Sweetwater brand. I go through several of those. I love many of those. But the Night on Punch, and then it's another one, Raptoris, that's kind of a fruity beer that I like to drink. But I'm all about the craft beers these days. So let me know, what it is that y'all drinking, because, my producer is saying that we got a Coors Light crowd. Not Coors Light. Bud Light, maybe. Bud Light. Not Coors. I refuse to believe that this is a Coors Light or Coors Bud Ice. Yeah, they might be Bud Ice. Yeah. Bud Ice. Okay. Got some Reform OE drinkers in here. Some Mickey's Hornet. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, man. A lot of great stuff going on in the world of HBCU sports. This weekend, we have a plethora of games coming up today for you and yours, including one that I'm very interested in, as I have mentioned, Grambling State and Alcorn State, which should be a really, really, really competitive game. Can't wait to see how that one turns out. A lot of Celebration Bowl implications in that one. And, we're all about that action, boss, right? We're all about that. And so that goes down at 2 o'clock Central, Grambling and Alcorn. Also, we got Jackson State and Southern University in what they call the Boombox Classic. It's not even about the football teams, the Boombox. It's like the Southern, the Sonic Boom of the South, being the Jackson State University Marching Band versus the Human Jukebox of Southern University. So it's like the Boombox Classic. That's how big these bands are in the SWAC, man. MEAC, get you some. CIAA, get you some. Yeah, it's shade. It's real. And then, as I've mentioned, Clark Atlanta and Albany State hook up. It is Clark Atlanta homecoming, and so it's Morehouse homecoming too. So immediately after this show, that's where I'll be. I'll be right there in the AU Center, taking in all the sights and sounds. There's going to be plenty of sights and sounds. And then over in the MEAC, we just talked with Coach about the matchup between North Carolina Central and Norfolk State. You also have Hampton, who's right there on the bubble, like a Central loss, an A&T loss, and Hampton's right back in the conversation. They take on Florida A&M at Hampton today. Then North Carolina A&T is hosting Bethune-Cookman in Greensboro, North Carolina. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff, and so we know that North Carolina A&T looking to keep rolling right along as they look to punch their ticket to the Air Force Reserve Celebration Bowl at some point, and it might end up coming the last game of the season versus North Carolina Central. Then there's homecoming on the campus of Howard University. Oh, my God. My dude Jay Walker, all on social media talking about how HU is better than every other HBCU. Yeah, y'all might have had a lot of people on campus, but I promise you the game, it won't be anybody at the game, because that's how they roll. That's how they roll, and it's not even like a lot of classics where everybody's outside tailgating. I don't know where these bougie fools go. I don't know where they're at. But I went up there one time, and it was like 5,000 people in the stadium, and they were talking about they had one of the greatest homecomings of all times. A lot of great events going on outside of football, but not so much inside of football. All right, so then here's what I really been wanting to talk to you about, and this is the HBCU Report. Being heard via 2lifestewsradio.com, also the TuneIn Radio app, and iHeartRadio. For those of you that like to download the show on demand, you can check us out that way via Google Play for Android. I hate the word Google. Google Play for Android, and also iTunes. So many ways to check out the HBCU Report. But there's a story written by Kendrick Marshall of HBCU Sports, and shouts out to Kendrick, about a good friend of ours, James Spady. It's not anything bad. And Coach Spady briefly mentioned it a few weeks ago when we had him on the show, but I didn't know that Coach Spady, and we'll talk to him next week. I just mentioned that. We'll talk to him next week as we get you ready for the Magic City Classic. But I had no idea that Coach Spady had his own protest of the NFL going on. For those of you that don't know, James Spady, the head football coach of the Alabama A&M University Bulldogs, is a former assistant head coach at Colin Kaepernick's former university. Where did he go? Nevada, right. And basically he's saying that he's protesting because, see, I'm not able to get on these SWAC conference calls. Let me just go ahead and get that for a disclaimer, because if you go back to the first show of the week, you know that I've transitioned. I'm no longer full-time radio. I'm semi-retired from radio. I'm a full-time teacher now. And so I'm not able to break away from class for these conference calls. But I didn't know that Coach Spady was actually protesting the NFL because of Colin Kaepernick not being able to secure a job. And I won't even say because Kaepernick couldn't secure a job. It's because nobody has really offered him a job. Now, I would say this. You know, I really don't know if that's I don't know. Maybe I have my own protest going, because I'll be the first to say that I haven't really watched that much NFL football this season. And I'm not a huge Colin Kaepernick fan. I don't know. Maybe for me it's because of the way that the season ended here in Atlanta. You know, with the Falcons just blowing that 28-3 lead versus the Patriots. Yeah, there's that. But so I don't really know if I have my own protest going or if I'm just not engaged or what. But, you know, I've talked to James Spady, and like I said, he mentioned that he was disappointed in the fact that Kaepernick had not been able to secure a job. And we had Coach Broadway on that same show. Oh, no, the week before we had Coach Broadway on, Coach Rod Broadway of North Carolina A&T, and we were talking about the situation, and that was the show. I think we titled that show, Has the Message Been Lost? Because we were comparing it to, like, the whole kneel down thing and the locking of arms. We were comparing that to something like the ice bucket challenge, where everybody was just doing it because it was the fad. It was the cool thing to do. Well, I mean, at this point, this thing is just kind of unraveling. I think at some point Colin Kaepernick will end up with a job. I commend Coach Spady for even admitting that he has his own protest going against the NFL because of the whole Colin Kaepernick debacle. And I'm kind of interested in how many people might actually be protesting the league because of Colin Kaepernick and everything that's going on with him. I'm very interested in that. Because, I mean, football is football. I mean, but for me, like I said, I just don't know. I'm more of a Saturday guy. Like today is my day. You know, I'm going to be down at the AU Center. I'm not going to be able to go to either game, Clark or Morehouse, because I have other obligations. But I'm going to go take in some of the culture. And, you know, I'm going to sit down and enjoy me some big-time college football this afternoon, though. And shouts out to them Georgia Bulldogs, number 3 in the nation. How about them dogs? Sick 'em, dogs, sick 'em. Woof, woof, woof. As I digress. But I'm not really a big Sunday dude anyway. You know, Sunday, I'm trying to get my mind right for Monday to go back to work and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I've just kind of lost interest. And maybe it's because all of this kneeling and the protests, maybe it's just become too polarizing for me because I'm also that guy. If things become just too much, I'll just back away because I don't, you know, I don't know. I'm just not that guy. Like if everybody's out here protesting, doing one thing, I'll look and I'll be like, yeah, I'll support you, but I'm not going to be out here doing it. And I might just find something else to do. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just who I am. But, again, it takes a lot. But Coach Spade is that kind of guy. You know, whatever's on his mind, he's going to tell you. And I think that there are a lot of coaches out here that feel a certain kind of way about everything that's transpired or transpiring in the wake of the whole Colin Kaepernick and the protesting of the anthem and all of that stuff. You've got the president and his crazy self all involved. Now you got Commissioner Goodell, who I think because of the pressure that the president is putting on the NFL and just putting on the media, period, about this situation, he's kind of caving in. And, I mean, I think that a lot of coaches, a lot of owners and people, they have their own things that they'd like to say, but they just can't. Well, it's not that they can't say them. I think that they're scared to say it for one reason or another. But here it is, James Spady saying, look, I'm protesting, and I've got the right. And he's absolutely correct. This is the HBCU Report. Rob Calloway here with you. Another segment right around the corner. We're going to close this thing out, put a bow on it, as they say, and then I'm about to make my way on down to the Atlanta University Center and take in some of the sights and sounds of homecoming on the campus of not only Clark Atlanta University, but Morehouse College and Spelman. So we've got that going. All right. This is the HBCU Report.